Hey everybody, as you see, we had the Escalade back in, and the other day when we were doing the brakes, of course we did, calipers, brake pads, brake rotors. We noticed that the not only does it need ball joints, but can you see that the upper control arm bushings are gone on both sides real bad. So what we ended up doing is we went ahead and called 1A Auto, and we are going to try out their TRQ parts. A couple things I don't like about them already: there's no grease fittings on the ball joints, but this is a 13-piece kit, and it was a third of the price of getting all the Moog stuff. Believe me, I love Moog stuff, but this Escalade has 272,000 miles on it. How much longer is it actually going to last? This will be a good test bed to see how long their TRQ parts work. So we're going to go ahead. We haven't opened the box yet. We're going to go ahead and flip this down. Got my pair of dikes. Got my cameraman. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what it looks like.
Open up like this?
No, it's got a piece of tape on this end of the box. Also, there's a piece of tape. I did not see that earlier. There we go. All right, this is a 13-piece kit. All right, rabbit pillows. All right, so, oh, actually, look at this.
Oh, came with blowers.
Now, this is the upper control arms. Look, the upper control arms actually have a place for grease fitting.
Looks like maybe,
and it's got, actually this looks like a very, very nice piece. So there's the upper control arms. Let's go ahead and just get this one out of the bag. There's the grease fitting in the box. Here is the new upper control arm. It has a nut, has a nice boot.
yeah, the boots are pretty thick.
Yeah, let's see. The joints are so tight I can't move them by hand. They are greasable. I thought they said they weren't going to be greasable, so that's a plus. All right, so let's look and see what else. Then we have these are the inner tie rod ends. Let's go ahead and just, I think they're all the same. Let's get these out, take a look at them. All right, now on the inner tie rod end, it screws onto the center link, and the center link has a grease fitting. So there is a hole there for the grease to go in. So this is also greasable, which I'm surprised. All right, so that looks like a very decent part. Outer tie rod ends. Now this outer tie rod end does not have a grease fitting. Made in China. They're tight. We'll see what happens. So there's the outer tie rod end. Lower ball joint. Let's get out one of the lower ball joints. All right. The lower ball joint definitely comes with your castle nut, your ring to put it here. No grease fitting. So the lower ball joints do not have grease fittings. I'm a little worried about that. So there is a ball joint.
Almost like you could drill that out and put one in.
Well, it all depends how it's designed. It might not be designed to have that grease.
Oh, maybe.
This piece here is the idler arm support piece. Usually you don't need to replace these because the ones on the cars do have a grease fitting, and so this is another one. This mounts in the car and it's supposed to have a grease fitting. It does not have a grease fitting. The one in this car is not bad, so I don't know if I'm going to replace this or not. It's got grease coming out of it. I don't know if I'm going to change this or not.
I wouldn't.
I think the one that's in there is good. If it's good, I'm probably not, because then I can continue greasing it. But if it turns out to be bad, we won't know until we get it apart. Okay, another outer tie rod in. We already looked at that. Okay. This is the...
Oh, that's the...
This is the piece that goes on the steering box. It is a... See the grooves? It's got 4 of those grooves. It's a 4-groove pitman arm. And of course, this does not have a grease fitting either. Do not like that. But, you know, it seems okay. There's the other ball joint. We looked at that. Oh, it does come with sway bar link pins. You know, these don't have grease fittings anyway. And the rubber feels nice and strong and hard. And then here is the idler arm that goes on this piece here.
Pretty thick.
Pretty thick. Looks like it's pretty well made. It's got the little rubber, you know, foam gasket to keep the grease up in there and keep the water and dirt out of it. But once again, no grease fitting. So far, the TRQ parts, they look all good. I know they're all made in China. I'm really happy that the upper ball joints do have a grease fitting. So that's good. So today we're going to try to get one of the ball joints in and one of the control arms in. So now we have to figure out, are the control arms the same part number or are they different part numbers? The lower ball joints are going to be the same part number. Not too worried about that. Let's get this big bag out. Okay. PSA 83675. Okay, the control arms are the same part number. Oh, these are actually made in Taiwan. Actually, stuff made in Taiwan usually is pretty quality. When I was a kid back in the 70s, anything made in Taiwan was a very good product. So hopefully these control arms, upper control arms, will be a good product. And it looks like it doesn't matter. There's no right and left. They're both the same part number. So we are going to start working on the car. So unfortunately, I know we put all the brake stuff on here. We're going to end up taking all the brake stuff back off. I've already come in here. Where's my flash? Oh, I got it. I've already come in here and I've marked the eccentrics here. There you go. Where they are. I know I'm gonna have to come in here and redo the alignment, but I wanted to put these eccentrics back where they were to get me someplace close. So I marked all 4 of them, which I know I probably only needed to do 2, but I wanted to make sure I do all 4 of them. So this bolt's gonna have to come out, this bolt's gonna have to come out. This is the arm for the rear air shock system, and there's a stud up here. So then these bolts come out here, and the control arm should come out. And then we're gonna do the ball joint too. So let me get the brakes back apart and the bolt for the brake line and for the ABS line, get the ABS line unplugged up here and get that out so we don't damage it. And we'll start pulling the hub off. And we're probably gonna have to take the axle nut off so you get the hub completely off so we can get to the lower ball joint. Let me get started on it and we will come back. Okay, went ahead and I tried to get that bolt out and the bolt just snapped. Not a big deal. We'll replace the control arm anyway. We'll just get a new 10mm bolt. Same thing over here. This is that bracket that was attached here. The bolt broke, no problem. I just had this tucked out of the way. I went ahead and I took the ABS wire, which is sitting right here and runs down the side here, unplugged it and got it out. I'd really like to take this bolt out, but I think it's gonna break. So I took the brake rotor off and I had the caliper here and I have the caliper supported by this green piece. So now the next piece we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and take the upper ball joint bolt loose, which happens to be an 18mm. And that was pretty loose. I didn't break that free yet. So we'll go ahead and get this ratcheted on down. when you're doing this, you definitely you don't want to tighten these bolts up until the car's on the ground, so it's at its normal ride height to tighten these bolts up. So we're going to look and see where this springs back, and I have to do an alignment on it anyway, so I'll be re-loosening those bolts anyway. So let me get this ball joint nut loose. Okay. Now we're going to come in here and we're going to smack the knuckle right here with a hammer to get this loose. Don't have a hammer yet. Let me get a hammer. We'll come right back. Okay, I have a G Junior here with a pry bar on top of the brake line. It's got a metal piece on it, and he's just got a little bit of light pressure on it, so we know when it pops. And then I'm going to come in here with the hammer. Try not to hit you all. There we go. And now this has a tapered seat. That's why it popped out. So we'll go ahead and pop this up.
Right.
It should be okay. Just let it. It should hold. All right. So now you can see where the normal ride height is of this. That's where we would tighten it up, and that's where I'm going to tighten it up for now. So now we need a 21 to put here, 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 and here, and get those cross bolts through. Let me get the. Do you have the wrenches?
Yes, I do. I'm sure you'll be able to break them free with this, but.
Well, that just needs to see this. Look at this one was already loose. That's probably why it chewed the tire up on this side, because this wasn't even tight. Well, actually, it was tight. I don't know why it was moving around so much. There might be a problem in there. I don't know.
You probably won't know.
Maybe it's just that the bushing bar worn out. So. Okay, there's the nut. And what I like to do is I like to set everything in order that it comes off. So here's the piece, and I have it marked with the white paint stick, so I know that goes out, so that goes next. And now we can push the bolt out. Let me take the tools for a second. And then this eccentric is also going to have to stay here to clear the shock. So then I'll just go ahead, and if you notice, see the bolt has a flat spot on it. This has a flat spot, so this is going to go right back like that. So now we know how that all goes back together. I heard a washer fall. There it is. This washer was in here. So, and it has a flat spot also. So we know where that goes. All right. Yep, go ahead and break that free. Let me have the wrench. I'll hold the wrench for you. Yeah. There it goes.
I didn't think I was going the right way.
Yeah, you're going the right way. All right, go ahead. All right. So on this one here, the bolt comes through the front and the nut's on the back. This is the opposite. The nut is on the front and then the bolt. So he's got the nut in his hand. So we'll go ahead and we'll pop that off. Go ahead and pop that off. I know it's dirty and it doesn't want to come.
It's coming. There
coming.
it goes.
All right, and now this one, since this is the front, we're going to come over here and we're going to set it here. So, yep, not that, that's on the outside. All right, here, come here and hold this. Now, we'll wiggle this around to get it loose. I think I'm gonna have to do the same thing. Is the eccentric isn't gonna clear. It might clear. All right, it's not gonna clear the brake line. So we're gonna have to get 13 and take the brake light mount loose to get that out. Let me go get a 13. And then there's that part. So we'll set this up on the workbench. All right, now I do believe there's going to be a washer that's in the back here, just like this side. So maybe we should take and make a mark here so we know the washer goes in the back side. And we'll mark a mark here because the washer was in the front on that one. So we know where stuff goes. So now this should...
Washer.
Is that another washer?
Yes, it is.
Oh, look at this washer. It's all messed up. So this was in the back.
I think, yeah, it was.
All right. All right. Let's see.
Pretty worn out.
But you know, this might be a part of the new control arm. Let's go get a new. Stay right there. I'll get a control arm. Okay, it looks like the new control arm already has those washers on it. So now the new control arm is just going to go back in here. And of course, since everything's nice and pretty and new, it's, oh, it actually went. So we don't need to worry about those washers. But we're going to be doing the lower ball joint. So now what we're going to do is we can lose this. We have to get down here and we got to take this nut off, beat on the knuckle to get the knuckle to drop down. We're also going to have to take the axle nut off since we have this loose to get the axle out. So I don't know if I'm going to show this. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this and get this all ready to go. So basically you just put the bolts and your eccentrics back into place. Those washers that fell out, they are actually on the new bushings, so you don't have to worry about those going back in. I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back together and get everything all lined up, and then we'll go after the lower ball joint. Alrighty, we went ahead and slid the bolts back in, and I lined up my marks here, and of course then it's gonna line up in the back, and I lined up that mark there, and that mark there, and I went ahead and tightened this up. If you notice, I tightened it up way up here, because that's probably about the right ride height. But when I do the alignment, I know I'm gonna have to take these loose, and that'll settle everything out. So now to the lower ball joint. I went ahead and took the nut off the axle, and I straightened the steering wheel out. As you can see, the axle is now out of the knuckle. Now we're gonna leave this hooked up for now, because once we get this thing busted free, we're just going to swing this whole assembly around and let the tie rod end hold it, because it doesn't matter if we bend this stuff, because we're going to be replacing that stuff next. So we need to find out what size this is, Brian.
That, all right.
So now, and you're going to have to get a deep. So get that out of the black toolbox. We need to get this nut off so we can beat on this to get this knuckle to drop down. Put you all over here for just a second and get, okay, I have this completely out. So what I'm gonna do is, I always like to have bungee cords around. We're gonna bungee cord this axle. Up out of the way. Trying to bungee cord this axle up out of the way. Oh, got it. 24?
It is.
All right, here, go ahead and bust that free. And the axle nut is a 36. So now we got the axle up out of the way. Yeah, right there. Okay, ready? All right, now that he's got that nut taken out, we are going to have to beat on the knuckle here because it's a taper fit to get this to drop down. Once that drops down, we will take and move this all the way over out of the way, and we'll bungee cord that up out of the way. Let's here, I need you over there where the camera was. All right. I want you to support all the stuff. Well, you got to support that and this. There you go. All right, can you push this? Yeah, right, like right there. Okay, well, actually right there. You got it? No? You can't put your hand there. You're going to have to hold it up here. Yeah, there you go. You ready? Yeah. Hit it a few times. Okay. Second part, we're gonna have to get a pickle fork. Let me go get the pickle fork and we'll come back. All right, I went and got the pickle fork and we're gonna try to put the pickle fork in here and destroy the boot, but it doesn't matter, we're changing the ball joint anyway. Going. I don't think so. I think so. Right on my foot. Yeah, of course. I'm getting sick of holding this caliper. We're just gonna have to hold it for a little bit longer. There we go. All right. Help me. I'm coming. All right, just let it fall. Just let it fall. Just let it fall, real slow. See, this will hold it up. Now we are pulling on the. So now we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna flip this around.
Maybe we should just disconnect the brake.
Oh, you know, so we need to break those anyway.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Could get a bungee cord. You know, let's just go ahead and, hold on, where's the, let me have this. I'll fix this later. If it breaks, it broke. There. We'll just go ahead and drill that out. All right, so now, anyway, there, that's out of the way. This can hang on here. So like I said, we're gonna replace this piece. So now, we're to the ball joint. You see the ball joint actually has been staked in 4 places so it won't fall out. We're gonna have to get the ball joint press out. I gotta change the batteries in the camera. Let me get the ball joint press out and we'll get ready to press this ball joint out. Okay, well, we found out we needed a brake hose anyway, so we disconnected it here. We've got the caliper up there out of the way. We're just gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. It's just gonna be so much easier. So I went ahead and had him take the nut off. So here, Brian, go ahead and just start smacking that with the hammer right here on the knuckle. Yep. All right, stop. Hold the, let me see it. Let me see, did it come free? Yeah, see, it came free. And now we have the knuckle off, and I can take and go in the back room and drill that out. And you can see how loose this tie rod end is. So we're gonna be replacing all that stuff anyway. So we got the ball joint press out. This is a older ball joint press, but it still does the job. So we are going to have to press the ball joint down and out. So we're going to need a cup that fits over top of it. That'll be perfect. Then we're going to need a cup for here. And we just need the forcing screw here. I do believe these are the original ball joints. They've never been done. All right. Of course, we're real close to the other ball joint, but it's got that sleeve on there protected. And you saw me beating this on here. Like I said, it doesn't matter. We will be replacing that. I would not have done that if we were not replacing this.
What size is that?
I don't remember.
I got a bunch of stock too, yeah.
I mean, yeah, just keep rolling. Oh, let's see. Let's see, is that it? 22, that sounds good. Okay, I don't know if this electric Ingersoll Rand is going to have enough oomph to do this or not. And here we go. I would take and get it right there. All right, here we go. Use the hammer. Okay. Yep. I don't think this electric one's going to have enough oomph to do it. Let's see. So another thing you want to make sure, okay, I actually believe that I made a mistake. I don't have the right cup on here. This cup might be holding us from actually coming down. So we're gonna have to take it apart. Let me see. Yes, I grabbed the wrong cup. That cup is actually riding on the ball joint, so that one is too small. We're gonna have to go up to the, wow, I don't have anything. No, that's the next size up. Yep, gonna have to go with this one. The beat up one, that's all right. I don't like the way that's cocking, but we'll see if it'll come out now.
No, it's about ready to fall off.
All right, well, I have another set of adapters. Let's see if we can find something that
That would probably work.
is gonna fit. That looks a little bit better. Can we use this one? They don't have one in there for it. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Let me get a 3-inch extension. I know you lose power when you use an extension, but sometimes you just have to do it. All right, here we go.
Actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. What size socket is this? 22. Let me go get a 22. There we go. It finally broke free. As you can see, what it did is actually broke those stakes out.
That scared me.
And once those stakes broke, it's coming right on out, right through the... I'm pointing the camera to the ground. Okay. Actually, that cut was really tight. But there we go. There's the old ball joint out. It's clean in there, but I do like to put a little coat of oil on this for the new ball joint. Now here is one thing that I do not like. The new ball joint has the boot installed, and we have to put the tool on here to push this back in. And you usually end up destroying the boot. Let me take a screwdriver, and I'm gonna see if I can get the boot off. All right, I was able to take a screwdriver and pry the boot off the ball joint so I don't have to worry about destroying the ball joint. So I also have this other set of adapters that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to use this cup up here. Now I have this cup here that fits this ball joint pretty good. Let's see if I have something else that slides it better. Nope, that doesn't work. That's too big. I think we're just gonna have to go with what I had, is this one. All right, so now we're gonna put this together like so, and we're gonna use the ball joint press to press everything together. Yeah, can you hold that together? Let me go get the ball joint press. All right, I got the bottom. All right. Pick up your feet. Done out. All right. So now what you want to do is bring the camera down here. You want to watch the ball joint, make sure it's going in straight, and you want this piece of metal to be flat against the control arm. So here we go. Make sure I'm going the right way. So I usually like to get down and watch it go in. Okay, you see right here, it's all the way in. So the ball joint's actually all the way in. So now we can take the ball joint press. You can back up a little bit. Take the ball joint press loose. We're going to be needing all this stuff again, so I'm going to go set it on the other side. So instead of this side being stayed, it has a C-clip, and the other nut wasn't a castle nut on this side, so you have a Carter pin for this side. Put that there. So now this, of course I have the tool backwards, so let me, spreading it out. So now that's your new safety retainer for the ball joint. So now we got to get, what I'll probably end up doing here is I'll take the same tool that I used to put the ball joint and put that back on, and I'll just tap the rubber seal back on. Now I don't like the way that's pointing, but there's not much I can do about it. I could take and stick a pick tool in there and try to turn it, but I have broken pick tools, so unfortunately I should have lined that up a little bit better to get the Carter key in, but I'm not too worried about that. All right, everybody, there you go. That's how you put the ball joint in a Cadillac Escalade. You're going to need a bunch of special tools. You're not going to be able to do it on your own. That's how you put the upper control arm in. So now I have to extract this broken bolt. I have to extract that broken bolt out there for the brake line. So now the hub will clean that grease up off the hub. This will slide back on. We'll put the nut on, put the axle back through the center of the hub, which actually that bearing doesn't look too good, and then put the control arm on, and then put this back on, and then this side will be done with the ball joints and the upper control arm. Then we have to do the steering linkage. This video has gotten way too long already, and we still have the other side to do. So we're gonna leave it at this for right now. So that's how you put a lower ball joint and an upper control arm in a 2005 Cadillac Escalade. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Please subscribe. You can always do that right there in that corner. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the video. This video's gotten too long, so we're just gonna leave it at that. We'll take and do the steering linkage another day. We're gonna get this side back together. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you all later.